Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about FEMA and what they do. Basically, nothing, to tell you the truth. It's not a great organization to depend upon. They're basically 9 to 5 a lot of times, or they have shifts and it's all regimented, and they're not going to help you in a great deal. It's worse than the military. How's that? So, when you get an emergency situation, you're screwed. Your silver ain't going to help you. So this is for the silver people and the gold people more than anything. And also, as a derogatory comment to some of those suit-wearing bastards out there talking about invest in silver, you'll get rich. I don't want to hear that shit, to tell you the truth. If you have a real situation where the world is collapsing or something, you want to do things ahead of time. You don't want to have any debt. You want to have a lot of money, of course, and you want to play low profile. That's the deal. Now, when I made this structure, I don't know. Well, the fence was here, but I beefed it up a lot and added this section in here, put a double row header on it. This thing could probably handle 150-mile-an-hour winds, but it's non-taxable because it's just a fence, right? But it's still here. Now, you can actually take something like this. This is what you call thinking ahead, but I'm just going to throw some ideas out there. These are 12-foot 2x4s, and actually you're better with 2x6s, but 12-footers, double stained, pressure treated so they never rot. If you went from this section here all the way over to this section here, you also braced it up tremendously, and you could throw a roof on it. You know, you can use pressure treated planks for a roof, that type of stuff. Nothing fancy, but that's a hell of a lot better shelter than what FEMA has been giving to New Jersey residents. They've been put out in tents on the beach, not even hardback tents. And the other idea is you can actually buy tents ahead of time, big ones, buy pressure treated lumber. You can reinforce that tent with a frame and put pressure treated lumber sidewalls on it, so no wind will go through it at all, and also get it up off the ground. Now, something I mentioned that I did here recently is I started putting down these blocks, these patio blocks. I'm gonna get a shitload more of them too, and the thing is, you can move these around. That's what I like about them. If I need to, say, pick these up and move, you know, I don't know, something crazy happens or whatever, you can always move those blocks around, put them someplace else, make a structure, put them under like a tent or something. Like, these are little tents. I don't really have big tents, but tarps, insulation mat, that type of stuff. These are the type of things you need to be accumulating, but especially food and water and fuel. Another thing is, I like the chainsaw. I don't really use this one too much. It's a huge ass McCullough, and you know, it's old. It's like 30 something years old. And it runs fine because I just rebuilt the carburetor on it. But that's what I do. I keep going over stuff left and right, but that's what you need to be doing. Not worrying about shiny little coins so much. But I want to go on a couple more things right now. And another thing is, this is one of the generators I have. This is just a pull start, real. You know, it's runs good. It's a Vanguard. It's a Briggs and Stratton, but it's a Vanguard engine, which is Japanese made, very high quality gasoline engine. But this could power up the well, no problem. Plus, I have the other diesel generator. Another thing I keep in hand, like I'll have these action pack things. I got bunches of them actually. There's tools in there, but they can be reused for anything. These things last forever. I got big ones, small ones, all kinds of shit. So accumulating stuff like this is smart too. Tons of like toolboxes and things like that. I mean, all kinds of freaking tools. This is like a very small shed, braced up like crazy. The steel shelving is actually tied to the walls, and there's metal ties. There's straps, metal straps going over the top that are concreted. The eye bolts that go into the ground, they're concreted into the ground. They don't go nowhere. I'll show you what I mean. So if you look at this, you can see these are concreted in the ground. They ain't gonna go nowhere. The roof itself, this will never rust. This is a special roofing polymer with Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer underneath it. It was all chemically cleaned before it was applied. This stuff will stay on there for like 20 years, no problem. So this shed actually will never rust. That's what it's been treated with, even though it's a small one. but I just use it for tools. But that's another idea. It won't blow over. These things maybe can handle a lot of wind, but when they're tied down like this to concrete, forget about it. They're holding up. This is a small solar charger, small solar panel with a charge controller on it that could charge up batteries at any time. I have extra big maintenance-free batteries, other types of car batteries and stuff. This is a diesel generator. I showed this before in some videos. I put the new battery on it, keep it charged up. It's an extremely heavy tarp that can be used for other things. It's doubled up. This is the heaviest tarp going. These are the best bungee cords. So these are the type of things I've been upgrading with. This is filled with diesel. It's got the additive in it that makes the diesel last for years. It's got the special additive in it, so that's another thing. Whenever I fill up any gasoline on the other generator to the other one's gasoline, that has the additive in it, stabilizer. A very important consideration. There's another small solar panel thing for keeping the battery topped up. These are the type of things you should be buying instead of silver if you don't have them. Alright, this is a well, which, I actually even have an extra part for this thing. It's called the pressure valve. I have an extra one of these parts for it, in case that breaks. It's a common thing that sometimes goes in these wells, but I have a spare one, even though that one's still good. This was installed. This is pressure treated wood. I stained it. Everything, make sure, even though pressure treated, doesn't get screwed up and crack. This thing has already been installed with the wire. In other words, when you open this up, there's a disconnect in here. Disconnects it from the main electric. Then I have this wire double plastic bagged. This will plug into either generator. It's a NEMA 30 amp switch. So you start up the generator, you got water. Plus I have all kinds of jugs and also the big bladders. So these are things you should do versus getting more and more silver if you're really thinking there's a catastrophic emergency coming. This is a spare refrigerator. It's not hooked up. It can very easily be hooked up. This is a spare microwave. I have a couple of spare microwaves. I actually have roofing material. This is sin felt, which can be used to repair a roof if you have a problem with the roof. There's aluminum on there. I got bags, all kinds of shingles, the matching shingles for the roof, roofing nails, roofing guns, that type of stuff. Also, this is plywood that'll fit on the roof, various sizes, but it's actually this side, this is hardboard. It's very strong stuff that will work for the roof. But this is a hell of a lot stronger than anything that comes in a house. Much stronger. It's not plywood, it's hardboard. The other thing is, if you notice this nozzle here, this is a 500-gallon diesel tank, full. It has it has all the stuff in it. It's been treated. All the diesel's been treated, so it could last for years indefinitely. All kinds of heavy duty, all kinds of paint, supplies, building materials, tools, up the yin yang. I don't know what else I could think of, but these are the type of things people need to be doing. Bicycle, another bicycle, motorcycle, that type of stuff. Also, it's a little dark in here. You want to look at, there's spare containers for diesel. You can use these for gas too. Yellow means they're diesel. So that's another thing you want to keep. And something else, heat. I have electric heaters, but there's also, even though I'm in Florida, it does get cold here. There's a kerosene heater. That's important too. That thing puts out a hell of a lot of heat. Very good once it gets cooking. And the other thing is I always keep some concrete. There's shingles. There's actually more shingles than that around. It's in the other shed. Here's 2 rolls of hoses I never even touched. They're brand new. They've been brand new for 5 years, but they've been sitting in here. Liquid heavy duty construction adhesive. I always keep that on hand in here just in case you need it. Of course the standard stuff. Of course I have the bicycle, which I like. Very handy. But I could probably go on for hours. But these are the types of things that you need to accumulate. Of course, basic tools. This thing I really like. If you really got to chop some wood, that axe versus the other axe will work like a SOB, tell you the truth. So, and I always like, there's a lot of shit, but you got to learn these type of things. Of course, you look at the can back there, the green can, I got tons of those. That's 5.56 stuff, you understand what that is. So, I keep plenty of stuff on hand. So that's the way I think. Do I think just about silver? Hell no. This is actually his top priority right here, this type of stuff. Oh yeah, I always keep this extra air conditioner. I don't use this small one, 5200 BTUs, but you know, if you're running a generator, you can run this thing, you know, off and on with the refrigerator. So you can cool off, you know, inside one room and that type of stuff. Smart to have. Actually, the fan is better to use, but I've used that in emergency situations. It's great. The other thing I have is I have tons of these extension cords. Actually, I got 100 footers, big heavy duty ones. This lift, this can come in handy. I mean, even if you got a down tree or you got to move a log, this is for engine hoist, car hoist. It could be very, very vital. And also you want is a ratchet puller come along. That's something else I have. That's not that expensive. This thing is pretty expensive, but I got a good deal on it with the engine stand. So that's another, these are other tools that are extremely important. Also, you want to have extra gasoline. You also want to have the gasoline 2-cycle mix on hand. Also, in this container, I actually have lots of other tools and stuff like that. And you want to keep other tires around too, in case you get a flat. Say, you know, everything's tires are tough to get by. I got spares, extra spares, beyond spares. Plus, you want the repair kits to fix them with too. You want, you know, there's tons of stuff I have actually. So this is how I think. And silver is not a cure. No way. It's everything else that you want to think about. Everything else first. And since I'm a big believer in supplements, actually this is only a tiny portion of the supplements I keep on hand. I probably got 2 years supply, and that keeps up your health and your strength. That's very important. This is a tiny fraction of what I got on hand. So I mean, you know, gives you an idea. Something else, sounds like a minor thing, but you know, I ran the generators before and the inverters when the electricity was out there, the storms in Florida. You want to have a lot of these things, and also various types of extension cords that have multiple plugs on them. And you also want to have LED lights and LED solar lights. As soon as you swap out the batteries with some standard AA alkaline batteries, those lights will stand. You have a lantern that lasts for days and days and days, and you just pull the batteries out to stop it. So that's another idea. In other words, you have these lights that are let's get around here a second. You have these type of lights, and I have like floodlights out there. You know, you can just take the batteries out, the solar rechargeable batteries, put in standard batteries for the nighttime, and you get a light that's always going to run. That's those things. That's the best thing to do. And these are cheap too. Yeah, I can't overemphasize enough about starting fluid, because sometimes if you haven't started something in a while, you'll need this. You could be there all day trying to start something, forget about it, and this might do it right away. It's very important. Keep a lot of this on hand. I probably have several cans. I'm probably going to get some more. I always make sure I have several cans on hand. But no matter what you think of, there's always something you didn't think of. But the only time to prepare is beforehand. Prepare means before, so you prepare before, right? You don't. It's too late once it happens. So anyway, silver's not your only thing you should be betting on. Especially if you're thinking there's this collapse happening. You want to make sure you have everything lined up where you can just collapse happen. Well, no big deal. Just pull out the emergency supplies and go like business as usual. That's what you want to do. So if you're just going to depend on silver for that, that ain't going to work. You got to have food, and I didn't touch upon that. I have a video out there that has all kinds of stuff about food, 30-year food, have a year's supply, all kinds of stuff. But that's what you got to think about: food and water, especially shelter, heat, electricity, fan to cool you if it's hot, that type of stuff. So those are the main items.